Hello, this is Running Robert, and today we're going to be talking about the Xeris Pharmaceuticals XERS first quarter 2024 summary. Today is the 15th of May 2024, and in the summary, we're going to be looking at the bullish and the bearish parts of this first quarter report. So I generally follow small cap pharma. I do some games. I do a little bit of everything. So if you like what I'm doing, hey, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot, and thank you. Disclaimer is at the moment, I do not own any shares. I did reduce some of my position around $3 and then the rest of my position around $2.50. I'm an amateur investor, and any advice given should be followed up by your own due diligence, and information given is valid for today, the 15th of May, and the slideshow will not be updated. But as always, new news, new slideshow. So let's just get right into the numbers, because I think that's going to tell you most of the story. So it was bad. So Gvoke came in at negative sales. Keveyis came in at slightly negative sales. Recorlev barely inched to positive, and then Ugla, which is what I call EU Gvoke, obviously major change. So they went from 44 million in revenue in quarter 4 to 40 million in quarter 1. So a decrease of about $4 million. Of course, they did end the quarter with 87.4 million. The net loss for operations was 14.2, with the overall net loss at 18.7. They did tighten their guidance. They believe they're going to get 175 to 200 million total in net revenues for 2024. And then I am estimating that they should spend 220 million in all of 2024. The first quarter, they came in at 54.9 million for operating expenses. So that would be pretty much 220 million, plus or minus a little bit. They do expect year-end cash to be 55 to 75 million. And they do have debt, but they have only 15 million due in 2025, 34 in 2028, and then a lot after 2028. So obviously you can see if they can hit that 175 to 200 million in revenue, and they spend 220 million in revenue, that's pretty much where their cash is coming from. Like it's pretty simple, no real issues with that. The products itself. So Gvoke was impacted in February and March by Change Healthcare because it was affected by a cybersecurity breach and copay assistance issues. So this was something that the company could not control. That would definitely, obviously any kind of cybersecurity threat that's going to slow us down is going to be negative. But we're going to see if there's going to be a recovery in the second quarter of 2024. In the conference call, they did convey that. So we'll just see how well it is. Keveyis, this was expected at some point. So what happened is they put a generic out, but the company has done a great job against the generic, and that is really using their Keveyis program. And it is definitely, for a lot of people who are getting on the drug, worth it to have like all that support instead of just getting the generic and then just getting the pill itself. Now, we did expect that, like, as people were on the drug for a while, they might not feel the need to go with the more expensive option, or they might not be able to afford the more expensive option. And so I will expect a slight loss each quarter from here. I don't believe the stock it's not going to fall apart, but I think we're going to just see a little by little loss, but they've done an incredible job of defending it up until this point. Recorlev, it's growing, but slower than wanted. There's really not much to say about this. Like, this was supposed to be their big new drug that was supposed to replace Keveyis and then really kind of move the company, and it just has grown, but, not as much as we would like. And then, of course, the EU Gvoke. And I never expected this to be a huge part because just EU is hard to sell in. I expected a little bit better than what they have for the royalties, but I mean, it's free money, so why not? So pipelines and partnerships. So this is where the company gets a lot more interesting. So, of course, the deal with Amgen that was announced in the first quarter. For Tepezza, this is by far the biggest driver of the stock going forward, as the drug currently sells in its current form $1.5 to $2 billion. I think it was like 450, 440, something like that million in sales for a quarter. So obviously it is still a big name drug, and it's definitely going to drive a lot of sales probably later at the moment. We are working with Beta Bionics. There's not much known about the deal, so I'm really not putting any value into it at the moment, just because we know they have a deal, but we don't know anything else apart from it. They did state that they completed both formulations for Regeneron. The stability program is currently in place. That's going to be about 6 months. And then we should get news about the program either in late 2024 or early 2025. Obviously, I think if the stability passes, it goes back to Regeneron, and they pretty much say yes or no to whether or not they want to move forward. There are 2 formulations in here, so this definitely has a very good chance to be very profitable if they get that. And then, of course, XB8121 data is expected around mid-year. They expect to start the phase 3 in 2025. If everything goes well, maybe they can file an NDA late 2026, probably 2027. So this is not going to be something that's going to add a lot of value to us. It's not a big selling drug, but it is something. So was it a good call or a bad call? So overall, of course, the sales pushed it down. We're going to be looking for a recovery in Q2 2024. A lot of times Q1s are the worst part of the year just because of new insurances and trying to get all that sorted out. We do normally see a slowdown in some companies, especially since these are not like really high performing or high selling drugs. Not a lot of new prescriptions, stuff like that. So, but if we see that recovery, we might be able to recover to above $2 pretty easy. I think that's a pretty fair statement. We definitely need more Recorlev sales. And this is really the, Gvoke is nice, and it's been gaining about like 1 million per quarter up until the last one. We need more sales from that. And so as far as partnerships deals, I don't expect any major movement until later in 2024. That's because, obviously they have to design the phase trial in Amgen, get that started. And then the Regeneron deal, we're probably going to be looking at that in late 2024. Like I said, late 2024, early 2025 is definitely where to go. So the market cap is around $280 million. I believe it is fairly priced. I did recommend this stock at $1, and this was one of my top stocks last year at 2023. However, at the moment, I do see the possibility of a recovery back to that level, but I don't see it till the end of the year with sales and partnerships moving forward. So, if we're looking at it, we're going to get some recovery and growth, probably in quarter 2 and quarter 3. But is it going to be exciting enough to really move the stock? I don't think so. I think we're to that point where we need to keep afloat until the partnerships start to come forward. So I think 2024 might be a wash year, as unless there's some kind of significant change, I really don't see a change in the stock price without some new information or news. So again, I think it's just going to be a fairly meh year. Like, I don't think the stock is going to crash. I don't think it's going to raise up until maybe the end of the year when partnerships and all that kind of stuff start to come together, unless we see some kind of major change in sales. Got to put that caveat up there. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a year. And of course, so I will continue to cover it because I will be looking to reinvest in it, obviously, when I see the positiveness of it going forward. So yeah. So hopefully this helps with some information for you. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And I hope you have a wonderful day.